Is exercise essential for weight loss? Do we need to exercise at all to help us lose weight? Does exercise help to speed up weight loss? Does doing more exercise help you lose more weight? And does exercise even make any difference when it comes to weight loss? I think the answers that I'm going to share with you today are going to surprise you. Before we look at whether exercise can actually help you lose more weight, let's answer the question, can you lose weight without doing any exercise at all? And if you're somebody who really struggles to do any exercise or very little exercise, the good news is that you can lose weight and reach your ideal weight without doing any exercise. And I know this myself because I have done this myself numerous times. When I was very ill with chronic fatigue syndrome, I didn't have any energy to exercise at all. I was pretty much bedbound a lot of the time, and I still managed to drop 5 dress sizes and reach my ideal weight. And I did this by eating less calories than I burned, and because my diet was ultra healthy, I managed to recover from chronic fatigue syndrome, got my energy back, and then I was desperate to exercise because I had all this extra energy. To lose weight, what you need to do is create a calorie deficit, which means that you take in less calories than you burn. And you can either do this by eating less food, or you can do this by exercising more. However, exercising more isn't exactly how it seems, and we're going to get into this in a minute. Just because your fitness tracker has told you that you've burned off 300 calories by going on that run doesn't mean you actually have. The way your body decides how many calories to burn each day is actually very complicated, and it's not something that a fitness tracker would ever be able to calculate. And just because you can lose weight and reach your ideal weight without exercising doesn't mean that I'm recommending that you don't exercise. Exercise is actually critical for good health. It's essential for humans to be moving. And this doesn't mean you have to go and do a run or a vigorous exercise. It just means that you move your body in whatever way that is possible for you. Even if you're just sitting on your chair and you're doing some exercises and some stretches on your chair, just simply moving your body is going to help you massively. So now we know we don't have to exercise to lose weight. Let's answer the question, does more exercise help you lose weight faster? And it's quite interesting. When I'm posting things on social media, I always get the same comment from certain people. And they say things like, weight loss is very simple. Just eat less and move more. And that is a very common phrase that's thrown around. It's often thrown around by people who have never had to worry about their weight in their lives. And I totally disagree with this statement. You don't actually need to move more to lose weight. And strangely enough, you don't actually need to eat less food to lose weight either. You can actually eat more food. You can eat a larger quantity of food as long as it's got less calories. So you can pile your plate high with vegetables and fruit as long as it's less calories than you burn. So both of these statements, eat less and move more, aren't actually true. But let's have a look at the science. There are some studies that do show that some people who exercise more can lose more weight. And there are also a lot of studies out there that show that people who exercise more don't lose any extra weight at all. So what's the truth? The truth is that it's more complicated than just exercising more. Although exercise is really good for our health and it does help us burn extra energy while we're actually doing the exercise doesn't always help you to lose weight as you would expect. And to explain why this is, I need to tell you how your body burns energy each day. The way in which we calculate how much energy our bodies have burned each day is through a calculation called the TDEE, which stands for your total daily energy expenditure. How much energy you've burned each day. Say for example, if you want to maintain your weight, as a woman, you might need to eat 1,800 calories per day. That means you're eating 1,800 calories per day and your body is also burning 1,800 calories per day, which means your weight stays the same. And most people assume that this 1,800 calories burned off comes from all of the movement that they're doing each day, all of the exercise. And they assume if they're sitting there in their chair, they're not burning enough energy and all they need to do is get out and do some exercise, some vigorous, intense, hard exercise like going for a run or going to an exercise class, and they need to sweat it out and burn that fat off, and then they'll finally be able to burn more than 1,800 calories and they'll be able to lose weight. But that's not how it works. It turns out that the exercise that you do each day is actually only responsible for a tiny amount of energy that your body burns off every day. And let's be realistic. If you're not used to exercise, you're not going to go out and run for an hour. You won't be able to handle it. Probably the most you'll be able to do is go out and walk for an hour, and this is much more realistic when people are building up their fitness levels, especially if they're carrying a lot of extra weight. Running is far too hard on the joints and it puts far too much pressure on the body, and it's just simply too hard. So say for example, you go out and you walk at the pace that you can manage, having not exercised for a while. It's probably quite a slow pace. If you are an average sized woman, you're probably going to only burn about 150 calories for an hour of walking. A whole hour out of your day spent exercising, and it's only burned 150 calories. But say for example you didn't go on that walk and instead you decided just to sit on your sofa and watch TV and scroll through your internet as you normally do. Do you know how many calories you're burning while you're just sitting and relaxing? You're actually burning 80 calories per hour, not no calories. So you only burn an extra 70 calories by going for that walk than you would have done just sitting there doing what you normally do on the sofa. And say if you went for a whole 1 hour walk every single day, 7 days a week, and you were really strict and you stuck to it, you would only burn an extra 490 calories over the course of the whole week. And to lose weight, you need to drop 3,500 calories to drop 1 pound in a week. So that extra 500 calories isn't going to make much of a dent on your weight loss. If you keep your diet the same and you exercise for a whole hour, you've only burned 500 calories extra in that whole week. And you could easily eat those 500 calories by just having a cake, a dessert, a couple of extra slices of pizza, a portion of chips, a donut, a muffin, and all of those extra calories you've burned have gone in about 2 seconds worth of chewing. And in reality, most people are not going to stick to doing 1 whole hour of exercise every single day. I hear the same complaint over and over again. People say, I've been exercising every single day and I still haven't lost any weight. And this is the reason why. It's not burning as many calories as you think it will. And even if you step up the intensity and go to an exercise class and maybe double the amount of calories that you burn, it's still not enough to lose weight. And it probably won't result in any extra weight loss at all, because the higher the intensity of the exercise, the more hunger signals your body sends to you, so the more you're likely to eat, and the more tired signals the body is going to send to you. So you're more likely to rest more than you would normally, and therefore burn off less calories than you would do normally just by sitting. The calories burnt as a result of exercise are called the thermic effect of exercise, the TEA. However, most of the calories that your body burns each day are caused by the body's need to keep itself alive. This is called the basal metabolic rate, the BMR. In addition to the BMR and also exercise, the body also burns calories by digesting food. This is called the thermic effect of food, the TEF, and I've got a whole other video dedicated to the types of food that you should be eating to burn extra calories by doing absolutely nothing. So out of the total daily energy expenditure, the amount of calories that you burn every single day, only 10% is made up from the thermic effect of food, from digesting your food, and only 5% is made up from exercise activity thermogenesis, EAT, eat. This is your structured exercise. It only burns 5% of your energy each day. And then we've got something else called NEAT, NEAT, and this stands for non-activity exercise thermogenesis. And this accounts for all of the movements that you do that are not structured exercise. So me sitting here right now, I'm using my hands, I'm moving around a little bit. This is me moving the body. Every time you get up off your seat, you go to the toilet, you make yourself a cup of tea, you put the dishes on, you wash the dishes, you get in your car, you're driving in your car. This is all extra movement, and this accounts for way more than your structured exercise. 15% of your daily energy is spent just shifting around and moving around and walking from one room to another and speaking. But most of your energy that you expend every day is simply to keep the body alive. 70% of your energy is spent just keeping your body alive. This is your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate. So speeding up your metabolism can cause you to lose more weight because it's worth 70% of your energy expenditure each day. So it's well worth trying to speed up your metabolism. And these percentages can change a little bit depending on how much energy you expend with exercise, because some people could spend all day exercising and therefore their EAT, their exercise activity thermogenesis, would be a lot higher than those people who don't. So the percentages can change, but this is just a general overview of what it's like for most people and most people who don't do very much exercise. So now we know how our bodies burn energy every day, I can now begin to explain to you a theory called the constrained energy model. And we're going to answer the question, does exercise always burn extra energy? A lot of people assume that all they need to do to lose weight is get on that exercise bike and keep on riding until it says they've burned off 500 calories. Then they need to do that 7 days a week, and that would result in 3,500 calories burned each week. Job done. No need to change your diet. You've simply burned off that extra energy when it comes to exercise. But we already know that we burn calories just by sitting here doing nothing. So when you get on the exercise bike and it says you've burned 500 calories, these are not 500 extra calories, because you would have burned calories just by sitting there doing nothing. And for some people, it's 80 calories for each hour sitting doing nothing. Some people it's a lot more. It depends on how fast their metabolism is. So we can't predict how many calories we've burned just because our fitness tracker or the exercise bike tells us we've burned a certain number of calories. It's actually not true. And a lot of studies will show that exercise doesn't result in the big weight loss that most people predict it will, unfortunately. And that is because of the constrained energy model. The constrained energy model shows that when most people start exercising, they do actually burn more calories off each day, which is what you would predict. And it does work, and it appears to be working. People think, great, I'm losing more weight, I'm going to keep doing this. And then what happens is after a certain period of time, the weight loss slows down and flattens out, and then they don't lose any more weight from that point onwards. Fitness trackers saying, you've burned off 500 calories during this workout and you've dropped no weight on the scales. So why is this? And the reason why this is that the body expects that if you are going out and doing exercise, the only purpose of doing exercise is to hunt for food, is to search for food. And if you do all this extra exercise and you don't get any extra food because you're on a diet and you're controlling how much food you're eating so that your calories haven't gone up, the body thinks, hang on a minute, what's going on here? She's expending all this extra energy and there's no more calories have come into the body. Therefore, we must be in a famine. There's no more food around. She can't find any food to eat. So what we need to do is we need to stop her losing weight. So how can we stop her losing weight? 2 ways. The first way that we need to stop her body from losing weight is we need to conserve her energy in other ways. So when she's not exercising, we need to send her signals of being tired so that she sleeps more, so that she rests more. And she burns off less calories when she's sitting there, because she's not got the energy to have an excited conversation and move around and gesture and play with her kids in a fun way. She's just going to sit there and she's going to be exhausted, because that's the way to keep the body alive. Because your body is only concerned with keeping you alive. It thinks that you're starving to death. It thinks you're searching for food. There's no food out there. Therefore, we need to make her rest so she doesn't burn off all of the calorie reserves on her body. We can't have her losing fat. She needs to retain this fat. And the body will also slow down your metabolism so that when you are resting, you're burning less calories to rest. Another thing the body will do is it will help you look for food. It assumes that you haven't found any food or you haven't found enough food, and therefore it needs to enhance your ability to look for food. So it enhances your sight, so all you can see is food sources. It enhances your smell, so you can smell out that food. So you're going through life and all you're noticing is the food surrounding you, is the smell of freshly baked bread. You're seeing the chocolate drizzling down someone else's cookie, and the body is sending you cravings. You can smell that food. The body knows that you're next to food, so it enhances your hunger. It says, go and eat the food. You're starving to death. Eat the food now, quickly. You can smell it. It's right there. Grab it, eat it. And you can't resist. It's too strong to resist. So when you do too much exercise, the body thinks that you're starving to death, and it forces you to eat more and rest more. And that's why you don't burn any extra calories when you do too much intense exercise. So after listening to this, you might be thinking, well, I'm not going to do any exercise at all because what's the point? And this is not my intention. My intention is not to encourage you not to do any exercise, because exercise is really good for your health, and it can be good for weight loss if you do it in the right way. And what I suggest you do is you do extremely gentle cardio and more of it. More gentle walking. I also encourage resistance training because this doesn't put too much extra stress on the body, because even though you are working intensively, you're doing it for such short periods of time that it really doesn't stress out the body on a long-term basis. And I also recommend interval training, where you're doing very fast cardio or something that raises your heart rate very quickly for a very, very short period of time, like 30 seconds. Because again, this won't have any lasting impact on your stress levels. And I also recommend gentle stretching, because this won't have any impact on your stress levels and your body won't think that you're starving. When it comes to weight loss, the most reliable way to lose that extra fat off your body is to take in less calories, and not to drop your calorie deficit too low, because again, this is going to tell the body that you're starving. Just a gentle calorie deficit, be patient, keep the body healthy, don't stress it out, because all the willpower in the world won't be able to fight those extreme hunger signals. And if you want to learn more about how to lose weight in a natural way, there are various ways that you can work with me. I highly recommend you go through my 6-week shred, and you can do this while being coached by me, or you can do it on your own. I also have a weight loss club as well. Let me know in the comments, has extra exercise resulted in weight loss for you without changing your diet at all? I'm curious to know. And now it's time to turn your struggle into strength.